Hey guys, welcome back to the 5 million gold from scratch series. It is now the 4th week of patch 8.3. The first full month of the patch has been out by now. So we are going to see what we have earned for that final week of the first full month. I can't wait to show you guys how much gold we've earned once again. We've been killing it lately. But either way, I did want to talk about kind of like my server's economy and its stabilization. Now that it's the first full month of patch 8.3, I would say that my server's prices on BfA materials are pretty stable. However, all the prices are kind of raised up, maybe like 30% across the board. So, for an example, before patch 8.3 came out, Zenithid would be 30 gold each, very consistently. It was always 30 gold per Zenithid. But then since patch 8.3, it has been pretty much 40 to 50 gold, floating between there very consistently. So, and that's pretty much across the board, across all the materials. I don't think it's due to the first in, first out system. I think it's just because the markets got reset, and they're just slowly lowering as more and more stock gets put into the auction house. But currently, whenever, say, a Zenithid stack gets posted to the auction house at like less than 40 gold, I buy all of it, and then it gets raised back up. So I'm also contributing to the kind of high prices on the server just because I'm trying to grab up every single bit of cheap material that I can that's lower than the current prices, since the prices are a bit higher than they were before the patch. That was kind of a bit, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about my server because a lot of people like to compare our servers, because people are like, they can't sell certain things on their servers that I'm selling on mine. So I'm just explaining how I'm able to sell the things that I'm able to for the prices that I do. So just a little bit of insight there for my economy. Going over what we actually earned this week, though, we did end off the last video at 1,346,000 gold. Make sure you guys check it out. It should be popping up on the top right of the screen right now, if you haven't yet already, because once again, for a second week in a row, we opened up 1 million gold from the mailboxes, and let's see how much we're going to earn this video. I did not add it all up, so I don't know, just like I did it last video. But this time I'm not going to claim at the beginning that I'm not going to make 1 million gold and then end up making 1 million gold. That was a mistake. I'm sorry. I reverse clickbaited myself. It was crazy. But either way, we did end off, like I said, at 1.3 million gold. So we are starting out this video at 362k. For some reason, we always end up at this number. I have no idea why. But what that does mean is that we spent 980,000 gold over the course of the week, just shy of a million gold. So we spent, once again, a lot of gold, and it is just like I was mentioning, whenever materials are at a price that I'm comfortable buying them at, I buy all of it. Yeah. So, yeah, that's we have to make 980k this week when we open up all these mailboxes to make a profit, or at least break even. But anything after 980k will be profit. Once again, I am storing a lot of the materials that I'm buying. I'm not buying the material and then making a profit off of it immediately. Some of these things are being stored in the banks, the guild bank, the personal banks of all the tunes and stuff like that. So we might not make 980k, and I would still be fine with that because I know that I still have the value in materials in the banks. But let's see, we might. Once again, last week we did, and here we go. This is the Gathering Tune, the first mailbox, and we are opening up 83,000 gold worth of sales during the week. I am now farming not as much as I can, but whenever I can. If I have an hour a day, I will spend an hour a day gathering. I think I didn't farm for like 3 days this week, so 4 days of an hour, and we earned 83k from all of that. Let's see what we farmed up and sold. So Bloodstained Bones, I have been farming up questionable meat. Pretty much, if I don't want to farm up an old world material, I'll go and farm up questionable meat, because that's what I've been doing since patch 8.3 has released, and I am just continually doing so. And Bloodstained Bones come from that farm, and so does Dredged Leather. I haven't had actually any luck, literally since the first day of patch 8.3, in selling any questionable meat. I am up to, I think, a few thousand questionable meat, now since I've been farming it for the past couple weeks, and yeah, none of it has sold. But a lot of dredge leather and a lot of bloodstained bones will sell. You guys will see when I scroll up. But going over other things that I have farmed, right here, giant dinosaur bones. I did mention that last week, that I farmed up an hour's worth of giant dinosaur bones. And this isn't the full stack that I farmed up. This is just a small portion of what I farmed up. But it was worth 4.5k for 1.7 thousand of those. Windfowl eggs, I get these while farming Bloods of Sargeras for the Legion legendary boots that I craft on my Leatherworker that I mention every week once again. I get a lot of these, as you can tell, 3,340, and they sold. All of them sold in one stack. So someone needed thousands of Windfowl eggs. I have no idea why. Maybe they know something that I don't. But either way, I'm glad that I sold these, what I thought to be worthless items. It's like just a free 1k for already farming something up that I just need for something else. Right here, this isn't any money earned, this is money spent, and we can ignore this. I think I bought like 30,000 tight spray linen, because once again, I'm just, whenever prices are right, I'm buying all of it. So I bought a bulk of 30k tight spray linen, and I'm still, whittling down on that here, so I don't know how much is left, maybe 10k. But yeah, more bloodstained bones, 333 for 1.2k. Once again, just more from that farm. Cinder Bloom, I think I mentioned this in last week's video, but I farmed up an hour of Cinder Bloom in Mount Hyjal. So this is just as a Cinder Bloom. You also get Volatile Life while farming it, and I do it on Dual Gatherer, so I also get Obsidian Ore and Volatile Earth and Fire and all the extra stuff. But this is just a Cinder Bloom, and it sold for, before tax, 9k, after tax 8.7k. So I think the farm on my server for Cinder Bloom is about 20 to 30k per hour, and it sells very quickly, so it's a good one to go back and do if you guys need some gold. I mean, I'm doing it, and I now have over 1 million gold, so you can tell it's still a pretty good farm. If you want to go and do it, you don't have to. You can stick with the BfA stuff is what I mean. More bloodstained bones for 2k. Thorium ore, I went and farmed up Essences of Air and Celtis in the top left corner, and I get thorium ore since I'm on a dual gatherer while I'm out doing that, and I get ore and herbs while I'm out there, and this was just the ore that I found while doing the Essences of Air. So this is just a little bit extra. It does take time to mine the ore, so you do want to get gold for that time that you spend mining the ore instead of killing the elementals for the Essences of Air, but it is well worth it, because it's just, 2k or 1.7k. Arcane crystals, are these Arcane crystal at 4k? Aren't these from BC? Aren't these the disenchanting material from BC epics? I'm blanking right now because I don't think 9 of those are worth 4k. Am I thinking of the wrong thing? Isn't that what arcane crystal is? This might be something else. I think this might be from BfA. I'm not sure, but I sold 9 of them at 4k. Maybe they're named Arcane something else, but they're very close to Arcane Crystal. That might be from BC, I don't know. This is either from BC or BFA. It's either the disenchanting material from BC Epics, or it's that like purple diamond thing. I don't know what it was. I sold it on the auction house though, and that might be what that is. I'm not quite sure. I'm just questioning myself because it sounds so close to the BFA or the BC material. Moist fillets, 66 of them for 1.3k. I think those were just overpriced, and I sold what I had. I probably only had 66 of them. This wasn't like a flip or anything. It's just I scan all BFA materials each day to see when prices are high, and I sell whatever I have whenever they are. Dredge leather, like I was mentioning, 408 of those for 12k. So that's from the questionable meat farm with the bloodstained bones. So you can tell, like, I'm making consistently like thousands of gold throughout the week with that dredge leather questionable meat farm. And then here we go. Here's the other big bulk of giant dinosaur bones, 6.8k. So I basically farmed up nearly 10,000 giant dinosaur bones within the hour. And that was, what was it? These are probably at a much lower price, I remember. But even then, that was 4.5k. And that was at a much lower price than this stack right here. I think these sold for maybe a few gold more per. But that was 4.5k, and then right here, basically 26k So 30,000 gold, including the exotic leather that we sold last week. I think it was for 1.7k. So yeah, it was about 32k for the hour for the giant dinosaur bone farm. And I might make videos for all the farms that I do. You can Google. The reason why I'm mentioning the farms is because you can just kind of Google them, and there will probably be a lot of information that pops up. So I don't need to make the videos for you guys, but I kind of, if I get requested, then I will, because maybe you want to see it visually, you know, how I do it and stuff like that. So I might make a video on all of the things that I do, but maybe just a few things. Maybe things that aren't like widely covered already. But once again, more dredged leather, 280 for 8.7k. That's quite a bit. Whiptail, 210 for 20,000 gold. That doesn't seem like that might have been underpriced, and I wasn't looking, because that doesn't sound like a lot per whiptail. Like considering what they sell at right now, I think they're at like 130 gold each. So this isn't. I don't think that's 130 gold each. So that's probably why that whiptail sold. But I did farm whiptail quite a while ago. It did take a while to sell, which is weird because it's used in the Vial of the Sands recipe. That might mean that there's no Vial of the Sands being posted on my server, and that could be a market that I can take advantage of. But that recipe is a pain to farm, and I don't want to do it. So, yeah. Either way, we did get 83,000 gold on the Gatherer. The Gatherer usually takes the longest to talk about because I'm going over like individual farms that I did throughout the week. And with the rest of the tunes, it's kind of like, this is what I crafted. It made it the same gold it did last week. So let's move on very quickly. So keep that in mind. It always takes the longest to go over the Gatherer, so the rest of the tunes will be much, much quicker. But either way, 83k to start us off, and we'll just collect this all up. I'll see you guys on the next tune. You know how much we're going to collect right now. Alright, so here we are on the Blacksmith, and I noticed today that Stormwind on my server is just popping. I think it's because it's reset day, but this is a lot more booming than usual. Either way, let's go over what we have on the Blacksmith. There we go. I love the Blacksmith because every single week it's earning on average 150k. This week 145,000 gold. Once again, just lots of uncanny gear. Like, honestly, it's just uncanny gear. We do have other things though, like mono hardened stirrups, 10 of them for 6.6k. That's a lot of profit. Make sure you're checking out if they are profitable on your server, because that is a lot of gold to, you know, ignore basically. And then once again, just all the uncanny weapons. There is a lot of plate gear that is selling. I did question that last week. I didn't ever check if I'm selling a lot of weapons or it's a lot of plate gear, but it's both actually. We don't sell a lot of leather, not a lot of mail, not a lot of cloth, but plates, man, it just like, look at this, plate arm guards, plate gauntlets, plate boots, plate waist guard. Here we go, plate, whoops, that's mono hard stuff. Plate gauntlets, plate greaves, shields. So yeah, even plate stuff. So it's not only weapons, it's also the plate. But either way, it's all from the Blacksmith. Deck pounder for 15k. I'm just selling everything, to be honest. Mono hardened stirrups, once again, 12k for 23 of them. Inflatable mount shoes, that's a mount equipment. I sold 2 of them for 8.6k. Another set of inflatable mount shoes for 4.3k. So for some reason this week, the inflatable mount shoes have been selling a bit more consistently. I have always had them on the auction house, and they have never popped up before in our mailbox. That's just because they haven't been selling. But I have had them always up, and they are finally, you know, selling little bits. So it's just everything. Craft everything when you have a profession, honestly. Like, don't question what to craft. Just open it up, click in, and see what's green with profit right here. And then just craft it all. If you don't want to do these things that have expulsum costs, like I don't, I'm not going to go back and craft things that cost 3 expulsum each when they're only at 1 star. But if you have them all at rank 3s, then sure. But yeah, just craft anything that doesn't require expulsum. If you want to, you can craft everything with expulsum as well. But I just the way I personally do it is I only craft the uncanny stuff that costs expulsum. But yeah, just do it all. Trust me, just do it all. 145k says it well enough. does it not? So let's collect that all up. And yeah, a nice chunk of gold on the blacksmith each week. It is great. So moving on to my leatherworker, let's check out what he has earned this week. And we have earned 28,000 gold. That is actually the lowest in a few weeks, a few of these videos. And I did mention this last week, or I made kind of the observation that my leatherworker was kind of being carried by the Legion Legendary boots selling consistently for the past few weeks and few videos. So now that we have seen that a week where they don't sell, you know, spoiler alert, I didn't sell a pair of the Legion Legendary boots this week, and it shows that those were definitely what was carrying the leatherworker each week, because we are now at 28k rather than the consistent 100k plus that we've been seeing. But I do have them on the auction house. We just didn't get lucky this week in selling them, but they're still there, valued at 130k, and we will sell them because we have been, and they are consistent. We just didn't get lucky this one specific week. But we can go over the other things we sold. Uncanny bows. Just craft any uncanny gear, honestly. We did sell leather though. Finally, this is our first piece of leather that we have sold of uncanny gear, and it is the gauntlets for 3,336 gold. Comfortable rider's barding, that is once again mount equipment like I sold on the blacksmith as well, and this leather version is valued at 4k right there. I've been selling some shimmer scale diving helmets. I don't know why, but they are selling. I sold 20 of them, not for a lot, but it is profit. Comfortable rider's barding, look at the difference there. 950 gold versus 4,000 gold. This is why you should definitely check your TSM, like double check your TSM. I didn't notice that they got posted at that low of gold, and that is probably why they got bought up. But yeah, sold a second pair of those. And coarse leather bardings, those are just kind of miscellaneous, something miscellaneous that you can craft up and post on the auction house for little bits of profit. 2 more pieces of leather. They were also both gauntlets, so apparently the gauntlets are the most important piece. I don't know, at least on my server. And that's pretty much it. Not a lot on the leatherworker this week. Hopefully next week we can sell another pair of the boots, but we'll have 2 pairs posted next week, since we didn't sell this one this week. So what if we sell both of them in the same week? We would have a 200k, like a 260k opening on the leatherworker. That'd be cool. But we'll have to see. We'll have to get lucky. But let's move on to the next character. And now for the first time in this series, we are going to be checking out gold that we have earned on an enchanter. I finally got my Coltarian Enchanting maxed out for the first time like ever, so we are now starting to do enchanting, and that just adds another profession to our huge list of professions that we are covering. And there is actually only one profession that we haven't maxed out yet in this series, and that is engineering. Now with enchanting, we have every single one except for one. So let's go over what we have earned for the first week ever on the enchanter, and we have made 34,500 gold. Also, I forgot to mention, I got the tools of the trade for enchanting, the Islands Enchanting Rod for disenchanting and getting veiled crystals. I had so many Tide Spray, like blue Tide Spray linen bracers from Expulsum, and I think it was like 200 or 300k worth of disenchanting materials I got, and I think it took me like an hour straight of just spamming my disenchant button of disenchanting Tide Spray bracers. So yeah, I got quite a lot of gold back in return for creating Expulsum, which is nice to finally have that gold returned to me. But I did want to mention that because we're going to have a huge influx of gold just from selling that stuff, but it's gold that I spent on Tide Spray linen to make the bracers. It's kind of just like a return on the investment. But either way, we have just, I mean, I have BfA enchanting maxed out, and like I do with every profession, I just craft everything that's profitable. So that's basically all it's going to be is like the accords for the enchant rings. Those are selling like between 1 to 3k each on my server, so you know, I'm just crafting all of those. Also, quick, all the navigations as well, basically. You can see 2 for 1.7k, 3 accords of versatility for 4.9k, 2 deadly navigations for 2.6k. So you can see they're selling for quite a bit each. 1 enchant neck, Mark of the Heavy Hide. That might be from Legion. I did get Legion enchanting to level 50 just to enchant my gloves with the Legion like skinning and Legion mining and stuff like that. For when I go back and gather in Legion. So I think this is what that is from. This is a Legion enchant, and look at that, 3.5k. That is definitely for a very large profit. And then also I did get to sell a little bit of the Umbra shards that I disenchanted. So 263 of those sold for 8.2k. I'm happy with that because that means that I'm selling little by little the stock that I have. I have so many Umbra shards and so many veiled crystals from disenchanting. It's kind of crazy. I was surprised by how many bracers I had stored. And then once again, I think all the neck enchants are from Legion. So another one of those sold for 1,000 gold. That's a Legion enchant. It's basically free because you just do a few quests and it auto learns it to you. And you can just craft it and then it's like free gold. That's why I love having all the professions because it feels so much like free gold. And yeah, 34k right there. That's cool. We will hopefully make more next week on the enchanters since this was the first week of enchanting. And next week I'll have a full week of sales, and I guess we'll see then. But either way, we are moving on to the next character. So do you guys remember how I kind of just said that I was missing only one BfA profession of all professions, and then I have them all, you know, maxed out, and I'm covering each profession, and that profession was engineering. Well, now on my alchemist, I have finally, just like enchanting, I have BfA, Cultiran, engineering maxed out. I now have every single profession fully leveled up and maxed out for BfA, and I am covering everything now. Now, I did just do this yesterday, so I don't believe we're going to have any sales, but this is still my alchemist, and let's check out what we have earned. And yes, once again, a full week of nearly 400,000 gold, 390,000 gold to be exact. We have tie spray linen right here. Ignore that once again, just because we now have engineering, and engineering has some expulsum crafts, so that's for that. We now use expulsum on this character. That's like the first time. But yes, I'm so excited that I now have every single profession covered. And I'm gonna be honest though, I don't know how well engineering is gonna do. It was very expensive to level up. I had to scrap, I think it was 1,000 or 2,000 tie spray linen bracers for expulsum on this, just to level it up. Like, that's not crafting things that are profitable, per se. That's just leveling it up. Some of those things were not even profitable. So, I hope it pays for it itself, engineering. We'll have to see. Either way, this character is always crazy. You can kind of be looking at these while I'm talking. 200 potions of Unbridled Fury for 49,000 gold. Just have, 50k basically, right there. Easy, right? You just craft potions. Also, potions of focus resolves, superior battle potions of agility, abyssal healing potions. Those sell just like crazy, 24k for 200 of them, and then they continue selling 9 for 1.1k. I think that's a lot more. I think that's a lot more per. But yeah, other things I craft on the Alchemist: Greater Flask of the Unshow, Greater Flask of Endless Fathoms. I craft all the Greater Flasks, and they sell for quite a bit. I did this week. One of the things that I spent gold on this week was a WoW token. My time ran out. That was 7 days ago. So yeah, that's 100. It was like 160k, and so that was part of my weekly expenses when we went over how much I spent this week. Flask of the Currents. Those sell like crazy on my server. Unbridled Furies. It's all the potions and all the flasks. Here, Lightfoot potions, 6 for 1,000 gold. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. Big stacks right here, 20k, 21k. Those are Unbridled Furies and Greater Flask of the Currents, like I was mentioning. Also, superior battle potions of agility. I've noticed that, like, this is a stack of 50 for 22k. There was another stack down here, 42 for 20k. So those sell for huge stacks as well on my server. Check those out on yours if you haven't already. More Unbridled Furies. Basically, the way that I do it on my Alchemist is I go over everything that's worth over 10,000 gold. Usually, if you notice, I go over things that are over 1,000 gold on my other characters, but the Alchemist sells so much gold worth of stuff that I have to raise the stake, or like not the stakes, but like raise the expectations with the Alchemist and only go over things worth 10,000 gold or more. So that's kind of how I'm doing it right now. If you haven't caught on yet, I kind of skip everything that are still making thousands and thousands. Like this all adds up. Like this is a 10k stack, 2k, 10k, 1k, 2k, 4k. Like that's like 30k right there. I'm not gonna go over it though, because it's not worth 10k in one stack. But that's so cool. I don't know. I find that cool that I can do that. Either way, Abyssal Healing Potions, add that up. That's 20k right there for about 180, 170. More Flasks of the Currents, and yeah, it's just... Oh, I did sell something from Engineering. 2 Crow's Nest Scopes for 906 gold. There we go. Those are our first profits from Engineering. Yes. That like pales compared to the rest, but it is profit, I guess, and it is the first thing we have sold from the Engineer. But there we go, 390,000 gold. One of these days, or one of these videos, I mean, so one of these weeks, we are going to earn over 400k. We keep getting right up to 400k, but not really hitting it. Next week, how about that? Next week, we're hitting 400k. Let's do it. This week, though, 390k. That is a huge chunk to just add to our profits here for the week. And we're going to collect all this. I'm going to sit here and just stare at it with you guys, because that is so much gold to just let flow into your bags. Just look at this number rise and rise by thousands and thousands. It's great. Telling you, it's great. This is all due to the tools of the trade right here, the Silent Sphere of Transmutation, by the way. Keep that in mind. You need to have this to make these profits off of Alchemy. Yeah, some days, like there will be days straight where I won't get the Silent Sphere of Prosperity to proc. It'll be a lot of the Silent Sphere of Transportation, I'll tell you that, but not a lot of Prosperity. And that sucks, because that's days where I can't post, basically, because I sell so many potions of flasks so fast. I can't keep up, especially when I have bad luck. But even then, 390k is good luck, I would say. But let's move on. Moving on to my Inscriptionist / Cook, taking a look at the sales we have made this week, and wow, 262k on this character now. That is so crazy. So crazy. Let's scroll down to the bottom, but 262k. You guys remember a few videos ago, before patch 8.3, I was like, man, I'm so disappointed with this character, because it was making me like 7k a week with Inscription. Now look at him. Now look at him go. He has surely grown from those times, because 262k. But that is a lot due to cooking. I would say it's about 2/3 cooking, 1/3 Inscription. So maybe like 80 to 100k Inscription, and then the rest to cooking. So let's go over those things that we have sold. Uncanny Combatant Etched Vessels. So those are the offhands that you can make with Inscription. Selling those, 2 of them at 15k each. Compendiums, Highborn Compendiums, always selling those every single day pretty much. 1 sold for 6k. And then a bunch of food. Big Mechs, those are very profitable. 325 of them for 24k. That's a huge chunk of gold right there from food all at once. Ultramarine Inks, sold 1,800 of those for 4.3k. I'm happy with that. Baked potatoes, those are the best selling food besides Big Mechs on my server. So check those out on yours. 97 of those for 8.7 thousand gold. More compendiums between 8k and 6k. Bountiful Captain's Feast. Don't know why these sold. These are outdated, but maybe they were cheaper and a guild wanted the cheaper versions than the newer ones. But I sold 14 of those for 16.8k, so over 1,000 gold each and every single one. Another offhand from Inscription for 13k. More compendiums between 6 and 10,000 gold. Guys, I'm selling these between 6 and 10,000 gold every single day. It's crazy. It's crazy. More Big Mechs. Tomes of the Quiet Mind, those are quite profitable. War Scrolls of Battle Shout, those have finally sold. I've had those for quite a while, but 12 of them. have sold for thousands of gold. Compendiums, we can kind of gloss over those because we already went over them. Biltongs, those also sell for a lot on my server. 68 of those for 6.4k gold. Finally sold some contracts. It's been quite a while since we've made contract sales. That's weird because those used to be the bulk of my sales when I was making 7k a week. But now look at them. They're making nothing. Just nothing. I sold some aberrant void fins. You can see in my inventory I have more. Whenever I am doing something, like I'm focusing on something else on my other monitor, I'll go and fish just malformed ashers and aberrant void fins. The new fish from patch 8.3, which I will get a video out for you guys, I promise. It might even be out before this video, I don't know. But yeah, whenever I am focusing solely on something else, I'll fish in the background just to make sure I'm still making gold in the background. And there we go, 53 of them sold for 2.7k. The prices are falling for aberrant void fins and malformed ashers. They're not as needed as, say, older BfA materials, so they're not selling as well as, say, like dredged leather and those big hitters. But hey, we sold some of them. Kebabs, 19 of them for 5.4k. That's good. I don't know if they sell a lot, but some sold, and that's good. I usually make like 20 to 50 each, and then I just post them all, and then hope some of them sell. That's how it goes. Ultramarine ink, always glad when those sell. We actually sold, 2 different times this week, some ultramarine ink, so that's better than last week. And yeah, it's pretty much the same going forward, so I kind of wish it would just condense them all down, to like just all the big mechs, just all the big mechs. If I haven't opened them, just add them all up. I think that's what they should have done, to be honest. It would look a lot better for these videos, but it makes it to where it's like I'm scrolling through these and I'm like, yeah, we already talked about that. We're selling more of that. Selling more of those. Yeah, kind of selling more of the same thing. And that's just, it's the entire thing. It's like, yep, more biltongs, more big mechs. But yeah, it is the way it is. Either way, that is 262k. Can't complain about that, I'll tell you that for sure, because that is a lot more than last time. That's crazy. That's the most surprising of all the openings so far, was 262k on this character. Again, just straight contrast from what it used to be, which is why it's so surprising. But there we go, 300k on the Inscriptionist? What? Man, I'm super excited for the end result. I hope I make a profit this week, but we'll see. Moving over to the Jewelcrafter, I'm actually quite happy with the Jewelcrafter this week. Last week I mentioned how each week my Jewelcrafter has just been making little by little, but still more and more per opening. I think, 2 weeks ago it was like 36k, and then the week after that it was like 50k, and then this week we're at 87,000 gold on sales for the Jewelcrafters. So once again, it just, it's been consistent. That's the weird thing, is that like each week it makes more and more. But I don't make more and more items with Jewelcrafting because I kind of just have an overstock of everything. So it's just weird how it works out like that, to be consistently more and more instead of less. But either way, we can go over what we did sell to make that, and it was mostly kind of just from a couple things, to be honest. The first thing we can talk about though is the eye level 300 rings for Jewelcrafting. Make sure you're crafting those if they're profitable on your server. They are low eye level, and they aren't for a lot of profit. 1,000 gold isn't a lot, but they do consistently sell, and it does add up. All that profit, it adds up. Right here though, this is the most or like the biggest single thing is the uncanny staff. Once again, I own this market. Not a single person. I'm on a medium pop server, keep that in mind. But no person on my server besides me crafts staves. It's been a month. It is the 4th week of patch 8.3, and I am still the sole seller, and I'm still selling them at 45,000 gold. And I'm not selling a lot, but I am selling one a week, and that's it. It might make up for the less frequency, but the more per. It might make more. I don't know, because I'm not selling them for cheaper. Moving on. Sage agates. I forget. Someone told me how to correctly pronounce these in the comments, but I didn't even understand how to pronounce the correct pronunciation. So I'm gonna just stick with agate. It's a gate, okay? It's like, you know, it's just a gate to your house, that kind of thing. I'm gonna call it that. It's just it's a normal gate. Either way, sage agates, 13 of them for 24k, and then 10 azurines for 19k. These are selling for like 1 to 2k each, and I have definitely been prospecting, and I definitely have a lot more posted right now, because that's a lot. Prospecting, that makes prospecting insanely profitable, selling these at 1 to 3k each. So yeah, I'm happy about that. I have like 50 of each on the auction house, and we'll continue selling them each week, hopefully. And that's pretty much it. The rest are like little bits of gems, like 2 packs here and there. So they're not going to add up to over 1,000 gold, but there are just a lot of them. As I scroll up and down, they're all kind of like the same ones over and over and over. So they do add up. They're just not in a single stack, like I was kind of mentioning on the previous character. So that means I don't really have to go over them. I'm just crafting all the gems, like I do with every profession. Just craft everything. There you go. 87k for the week by doing that, and I am happy with the Jewelcrafter. But let's move on to the Tailor. You know, for the past few weeks, especially since patch 8.3, my Jewelcrafter and my Tailor have always kind of been like the lower end of the gold that I've been earning per week. But if we take a look at the Tailor here, and then we remember the Jewelcrafter that we just went over, they've been keeping up with the rest this week. It's kind of crazy. You can see the very big difference between last week and this week, with especially the Tailor here sitting at 112k this week compared to last week, which I believe was like 20k, maybe 30k if that. But yeah, a lot more sales this week on the Tailor, which is again just kind of just like the complete opposite of what it's been. But I sold quite a bit of uncanny cloth gear, which is what got it this far. Which again, cloth gear, just I haven't sold a single piece of cloth gear the entirety of patch 8.3. Like every single day I have cloth uncanny gear on the auction house, and it doesn't sell. But this week, for some reason, compared to all the other weeks, it definitely has sold a lot more. So we got pants, bracers, mittens. Pants definitely being a lot higher than the rest at 14k compared to 3 and 4k. Selling a lot of bags as well. Mage weave, frost weave, deep sea, all of those. Mittens from uncanny cloth gear again. Saddle chutes, those are mount equipment. I sold a lot of mount equipment this week as well compared to other weeks. It just seems like my server is a lot more active this week. Like, look at even Stormwind. There's so many more people in this video than all the other videos right here. It's usually dead right here. But more frostweave bags. These are selling for a lot. You guys should definitely check out frostweave bags on your server. And then a full set right here: pants, mittens, bracers, boots, pants, and belt. Double pants, but basically an entire, like, someone just bought one of each. So that's an easy chunk of like 30k, 40k maybe. Deep sea bags, like I mentioned last week, I'm going to try to stick to making 20 deep sea bags and have 20 on the auction house at all times, because they sell it in chunks. Right here, more uncanny cloth gear, and yeah, a lot of deep sea bags. Sold some otherworldly, I wanted to say underworldly, but otherworldly bags for 2.4k each. Those are quite profitable. And deep sea bags. So a lot of deep sea bags. So that was the difference between this week and last week, and also all the uncanny cloth gear that has actually sold. There's nothing I can really do about the cloth gear. I just got lucky and a lot of it sold this week, but I haven't posted any more or any less. It's been the same with the uncanny cloth gear. So that's just luck there. That's the difference that made. But the deep sea bags, I made the difference there in making 20 at a time this time instead of only 4. That was the mistake there, was making too little of the deep sea bags. I didn't know they sold this much. But yeah, so all in all, those differences made it to tailoring not being the worst profession this week for the first week in quite a while. And yeah, 112k, that's going to make for a lot more tight spray linen bracers. I'll tell you that. I'm going to buy out a lot more Tidesbury linen. But yeah, let's collect this all up. And I think the last character is the Transmog character, so let's see how we did there. And now for the final opening of the day, it is the Transmog Sales from the past week. I did mention last week that I am now starting to farm Transmog again. It is basically the exact same thing as I went over with the Gatherer at the beginning of this video. If I have an hour to farm Transmog each day, I will, farm Transmog for an hour each day. That doesn't happen every day. Same exact thing with the Gatherer. I don't have since that's now 2 hours, right? So I have to have an hour for, well, I don't have to, but I like to have an hour for gathering and then an hour for Transmog farming. So if I don't have that time, then I won't be able to do it that day. Either way, I'm just trying to say I'm making more of efforts to farm Transmog. It's just it's not my main thing, My main thing is crafting, not gathering, not farming, not Transmog. It's crafting, but these are the things that I try to do on the side when I have the time to. The extra time after the crafts. And it is kind of another low week, even though I am now farming Transmog at 15.5k in Transmog sales over the week. Only a few items even cracking the 1,000 gold mark, which does mean since it's 15k and there's only a couple items that sold for more than 1,000, all these little things are adding up. Because 15k is a lot more than just this 1, 3, 5, 7k. So another basically 7k in all these little cells. But the bigger ones are Chain Links of Fraying Awe. That's actually a BfA, like eye level 320 BOE. So it was a low level BOE epic from BfA, but it did sell for 4k. I'll take it. That's fine. No one's, I don't even know why someone bought that. I treat it as Transmog, basically. Maybe that's what they bought it for, is Transmog. Because no one's using that for stats. Uncanny Gear goes for more than that. And then Glimmering Mail Pauldron sold for 2k. Captain's Leggings of the Quick Blade sold for 2k. And Schematic Goblin Landmine sold for 1,000 gold. The Goblin Landmine, I believe, comes from dungeon farming. I don't think I bought that off of a vendor. But I don't quite remember where these other two things. The Glimmering Mail Pauldron sounds like from Black Fathom Deeps, and then the Captain's Leggings, I couldn't tell you. It sounds like Zulfaric though, to be honest. But either way, it wasn't a lot. It's not like those are big items to go after. Those are just the farms that I did. So BFD and ZF. There you go. And I kind of been doing ZF mainly, to be honest, because that's where I get the most sales from Transmog. So I'm kind of trying to get all the stuff from ZF on the auction house. So I did maybe 30 runs of Zulfaric and maybe 10 runs of BFD this week, and that's how I earned that 15k. And yeah, that is all the gold collected for the week across all the characters. It is now time to see the final result. So once again, if I bring up on my other monitor real quick, we ended off last week at 1,346,000 gold, and then we started out this week at 362k, which means we spent 980,000 gold. So we have to, if we want to make a profit, we have to have more than 1,346,000 gold. And we might not do it. I'm scared because I want a profit, but I don't know if we did. Let's see. We are at, dang, we still profited. I am not adding these up in my head correctly because I did not even think I thought maybe we cracked a 900k, but we actually made gold. So we spent 980k and we profited, what is that? 163k. So there you go. We profited 163k after spending 980k. So we are getting about a 10% return on our investments, which is great because that isn't all of our investments. I don't use every single last piece of material that I buy. I have a lot in stock on all my characters. I have a lot of Zenithid in stock in the banks. I have a lot of Osmanite ore in the bank. I have a lot of Monolite ore in the bank. I'm stocked up for my crafts. So Even with all that stock, we still made 100 and what was it? I already forgot. 107. I forget what it was. It was almost 200k. I remember that. But yeah, that's mainly due to cooking being a lot better this week. You know, Alchemy is still cranking out the nearly 500,000 per week, which is crazy. And then the consistencies of my blacksmith and what was the other one? Also tailoring. Tailoring did a lot better this week. That's where we got a lot of profit from. And jewelcrafting. Those are probably what made our profits this week, mainly since those stepped up their game over the course of this week. So yeah, I'm really happy. Once again, it's just we opened up, what is that, 1.2 mil this week in across all the characters. That's a lot of gold to just open up. I need to add these up before I make these videos, so I'm not always so surprised at the end of these. I just don't expect to make 1.2 mil. That's crazy. Since I'm on a medium pop server, like this is per week, guys. Like each week. This isn't like a month. This is a week. It's crazy. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like, and if you haven't yet, click that subscribe button plus the bell next to it so you can be notified whenever I upload a video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.